Hey friends, Sam Haymart for Test Driven TV. If you watch our videos often, you know we've already test driven the Lexus IS a couple of times this year. Earlier, we test drove the IS350, the base model, and of course we recently did the IS350 with all-wheel drive and the F-Sport package. This one sort of falls somewhere in the middle. It's the IS350 standard sedan with rear-wheel drive, but it does have quite a few options on it, including a luxury package and the Mark Levinson sound system. So let's take a look and see how it differs from the others. The Lexus IS is precisely on target in its competitive field with the Mercedes-Benz C-Class, BMW 3 Series, and now the Infiniti Q50 in terms of size, content, and upscale features. All new for 2014, the IS has a daring style that goes beyond what Lexus used to offer. With avant-garde details and stylistic forays such as the split headlamps and pronounced spindle grille, the IS won't be for everyone, but stands out in its class as both unique and distinctly designed. Our tester featured 10-spoke 17-inch wheels in what Lexus calls deep-sea mica paint, along with a tan interior color scheme. The cabin was outfitted with the luxury package with options which included heated and cooled leather seats, driver aids like lane departure warning, and the Mark Levinson sound system. One thing of note I always like to point out with Lexus is their infotainment system Control Puck, which I have found to be just one of the best in the business. Using it has a tactile feel, and the menus on the screen for audio, navigation, and car controls are easy to learn. The seats are comfortable and firm with good support for spirited driving. They balance well between grip and long-term comfort, being well suited for long drives. Our tester had memory seat and mirror settings for the driver, which is a major plus. I really like this interior a lot. This is one of the best interiors I think Lexus has done, and of course it's part of the whole family of cars right now, because if you sit in the GS, which is the mid-size, if you sit in the LS, which is the full-size, you're going to find an interior that's almost exactly like this, just a little bit larger. Now if you've watched our videos before, you know some of the common complaints that I've already got about this interior, because while I like it a lot, it certainly isn't perfect. One of them, of course, is up here you got this navigation screen, which is a tiny screen in a big screen space. It looks to me like you just didn't quite spend enough money. The other thing is the fake wood in here. Well, it's not really fake, it's actually genuine. It just looks fake. It's pretty to look at, but it doesn't look genuine. But after I spent some time in this third IS this year, one new thing I found to quibble about is the location of the cup holder here. If you're driving along, you actually have to reach back to get to the cup. Now if you use this furthermost one back here, why, it's even further back. It's a little bit of a design problem, and I understand why the compromise was made. You've got the Control Puck over here, which is for your navigation and entertainment system, and it's ergonomically great. You lay your hand right here and you use the controls. But the problem is, this might be just as important as that in my opinion. One thing they could do is down here you have the drive mode selector, which is right here in some very prime real estate. They could very easily move this puck over here where your hand could rest on it just the same, move these cup holders up here, and the drive mode selector really could be anywhere else. The back seat of the IS is a little bit snug, but this is a compact sports sedan, so we're not looking for the same kind of space we find in the LS, for instance. As I sit back here, I'm about 5'9", so average size perhaps. When I sit back here, my knees are just getting up against the back of this front seat, and they're not all the way forward or all the way back. In fact, these can come back just a little bit further, which would make it tighter. One thing that I am really noticing is the tops of my toes are rubbing the bottom of the seat in front of me as I slide my feet under. There's a very little gap down there. The good news is, up here, there's plenty of headroom. I've got about 1.5 inches above the top of my cowboy hat, which is always a good test of the rear seat. Under the hood of the IS350 is a version of Toyota and Lexus's venerable 3.5-liter V6 engine. This is an engine that's been around for quite some time and has generally won accolades for being smooth and powerful.
But this engine is a hotter version of that. It's got direct injection and port fuel injection, which gets it up to about 306 horsepower. And in the IS, it's mated exclusively to an 8-speed automatic transmission in the rear-wheel drive model. And so what that gets you is an engine that's more powerful, it has a lot more of a throaty roar when you put your foot in it, and it's a lot more fun to drive. Let's have a listen. Nice. Nice sound. Now this transmission really shifts well too. As I'm coming up to a corner here, I'm going to brake quite hard coming into it. I'm going to go into the corner, and I get that crisp downshift right out of the curve. It's just a wonderful powertrain. I could do this all day. Brake, brake, brake. Accelerate out of the curve, and off we go.
The chassis dynamics of the IS, in my opinion, rises to the same level of sharpness and poise as its competitors from Germany. I might even say it's more an accurate and better feeling instrument. The electronic power steering is sublimely sharp and offers excellent feel. The drive mode selector, which ranges from Eco, Normal, and Sport, does a great job of giving you genuinely different behavior from the steering feel as well as the transmission shifting and throttle responses. If you step up to the F-Sport package, that knob also stiffens up the shock valving with the Sport Plus mode. Braking for the IS is also pretty firm and fade-averse with sizable 13-inch front and 12-inch rear disc brakes. EPA estimates are 19 mpg city, 28 mpg highway, and 22 mpg combined. We achieved 25.6 mpg combined in our week of testing.
Having spent a lot of seat time in the IS in the last year, I think the thing that really hammers home to me is the fact that Lexus has finally achieved luxury brand status. What do I mean by that? Well, BMW and Mercedes have always had something special about their cars that when you sat behind the wheel and drove it, it just had a metric of things that defined it that were completely unique and different from any other car. It's what made them special. It's what makes them worth the extra money. Not just how they look or how they perform, but how they feel, how they smell, and basically the mood they put you in when you get behind the wheel. And so, for the last quarter of a century, Lexus has been working to not only compete with these brands, but get their products to a level where they have that something special. And with this new IS, as well as the last generation of their products, I think they've finally attained it. When you get behind the wheel of a Lexus now, it's got its own feel, it's got its own design DNA, it's got its own smell, and basically, it's universal across their products. And that alone is an accomplishment. The Lexus IS has won a lot of praise from the major automotive media and test-driven TV. In fact, the Lexus IS350 and the IS350 are cars that are already on our I'd Buy It list for the 2014 model year. And this one, well, it fits right in with the rest. It threads the needle very nicely between the F-Sport, which is ultra sporty, and the base model, which has a lot of value. It's just a well-rounded car that has a good handling and driving experience. For this week, we give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Only away from 5 because of some of the interior design issues we talked about. I'm Sam Haymar for Test Driven TV. I hope you enjoyed the ride.